tó ṣàprapra tó tún lè lálejò tó bá wọn yọ. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ gbogbo. ọ̀dà ṣóò ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ gbogbo. àǹtí ṣóò ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ gbogbo. ẹ̀yin àgbẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ gbogbo. SPFS TV lórí YouTube subscribe. ẹ̀kọ́ àgbẹ̀ tó yè kóró. ìròyìn lóríṣiríṣi nípa agriculture. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. ọ̀dà ṣóò ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. àǹtí ṣóò ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. ẹ̀yin àgbẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. SPFS TV lórí Facebook, SPFS TV lórí YouTube, SPFS TV lórí Instagram. for your agricultural programs lóríṣiríṣi. àgbẹ̀ ọlọ́sìn ẹja oríire ti dé. ọlọ́sìn adìyẹ má ṣe mí kan rárá. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. ọ̀dà ṣóò ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. àǹtí ṣóò ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. ẹ̀yin àgbẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò.
Hello beautiful people, thank you for joining us on this episode of Let's Talk Agric on SPFS TV, Soever Poultry Farm Services Television, here from the city of Ibadan in the Oyo State, yes, Oyo State, Nigeria, Oyo State capital. Yeah, today it's about to get sweet and fantastic as we are going to be talking about sweet corn farming. Yes, you heard right, sweet corn farming. Yes, I told you that it's going to be a sweet show today. Yes, that is what the Yorubas will call Agbado Didun. How do we cultivate it? How do we nurture the plant to the point of harvesting? All of this we're going to be looking at today with our guest in person of Ajibade Wasiu Okpeyemi, who is the CEO of Agric Farm Services. So a quick reminder that you follow us on all our social media platforms at SPFS Television, SPFS TV, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. If you have not subscribed, make sure that you click on the subscribe button and do tell us where you are listening from. So our guest is in the studios. Let's talk about sweet corn farming today. How is it cultivated? What are the varieties? In fact, it's interesting to know that you find some of them come in white color, some come out as yellow, some come out as bicolored. Why is it like that? What is responsible? What are the factors necessary, okay, for sweet corn farming? Maybe you want to start in your garden, you want to start, at your backyard, you want to start as a big farmer, you want to venture into sweet corn farming. How do you do it, and how do you become successful in it? My name is Isiteju, and I'm your host as usual. We'll come back after this break with our guest to get deep into our business for today. Do stay tuned. Alright, welcome back, people. Welcome back from that short break. It's still SPFS Television. Let's talk Agric, where we make sure that we help you to get agriculture right, and we also celebrate and project farmers as well as agripreneurs. As such is the person that we have on the program today, the person of Mr. Ajibade Wasiu Opeyemi, the CEO of Agriwas Farm. He assumes, I want to assume he's a shy person, but he's here today to say everything about sweet corn farming. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this afternoon, sir.
You're welcome.
So he came from Agelu local government where his farm is, and I'm sure for him to have traveled down from that great distance here today, he has something very important to share with you and I, especially about what makes sweet corn different from any other kind of crop. I think we should just start from there. What makes sweet corn different from any other type of corn? You know, normal corn that we eat every day.
Okay, sweet corn is a variety of maize that is grown for human consumption.
Okay.
And it has high sugar content that makes this more unique than the conventional corn, the feed corn that we see around.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then in terms of maturity, it is early mature variety. Within 55 to 65 days, you start harvesting it.
Interesting.
And in terms of nutrients, it is highly nutritious.
Wow,
it
even more than the field corn?
Yes.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting one there from Mr. Opeyemi. Just talking about sweet corn, just trying to lay the foundation about what makes it different from any other type of corn, like the normal field corn that we all eat on the farm. Now, talking of sweet corn farming, I want us to start with the cultivation. But how long have you been doing, cultivation, harvesting of sweet corn?
3 years now.
3 full years.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, at the point that you started, how did you start? What are the things for somebody who is just starting? What are the things that the person should ensure to put in place before starting out a sweet corn farming business?
Yeah, before starting a sweet corn farming business, the first thing you have to consider before you go to the field is you must have your market down.
Okay.
It is very, very important. You see, I didn't say you buy your land or something like that. Your market.
But what if I just want to grow it for eating?
For eating.
Just me and my family.
Okay. If that being the case,
okay.
But if you want to go into sweet corn production as a business, the first thing is to get your market right. Why did I say market? Because number one is that it has a very short shelf life. It's not like conventional corn that everybody see around. Once you plant sweet corn, once it is ready for harvest, if you don't harvest it in 2 weeks after it is ready, it is a waste.
Wow.
So it is designed to for human consumptions, and because of the short shelf life that it has, then you have to consume it fresh, frozen, or canned. So if you don't have all those resources down, the people that will take it off immediately it is ready for harvest, they must be on ground. If not, if you think after it is ready, that's when you want to start looking for markets. Before you even see a customer, they don't pass through the stage in which you can sell it. So that's why I said market is a very
because it's highly perishable.
It's highly perishable.
Interesting.
So, and aside that, the first thing when you want to do your sweet corn production is to have your land, and your land must be very rich, must be a loamy soil. The type of soil, loamy soil is very important, and the availability of water, it is very important. For high now, I do sweet corn all year round. Every month I must sell sweet corn.
Wow.
Every month.
Wow.
You get. So and you can't predict climate these days. Sometimes rain will fall in 3 weeks, it will not fall again. So you must have a backup. Either I practice irrigated sweet corn, that's what I do.
Wow.
You get it. So you must have a backup that if rain doesn't fall, what can I use to augment the water requirement of the plants? Because aside that they are heavy feeders of nutrients, they also need water for them to grow properly, especially when they are at their reproductive stage. At their reproductive stage, if you don't give them water, then there is no way you not get good yield, and then the grain filling will be scanty.
Great.
Yeah. So that's why one of the factors you must consider is availability of water.
You know, I actually found out that, you know, the sweet corn has about 70% of water.
Yeah.
You know, at the harvesting stage.
Yeah.
No wonder that it requires more water when it is being nurtured. Okay, so you need your market ready, you need water system in place. What else should you put in place?
Another thing again that you have to put in place when you want to venture into sweet corn production is that your managerial skills is very, very important.
So I must be a manager.
Yeah, like you must have the technical know-how. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, ability to manage it well.
All right.
You get it. It's not like conventional corn. You can undo it anyhow. It requires a special technicality for you to have a unique and then a successful production. You know, let me tell you one thing, one interesting thing about sweet corn is that the quality of your sweet corn will determine the price you are going to sell it.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
If your sweet corn quality is bad, the money they will attach to it will be bad.
You won't get the value.
Yeah.
For the
You can sell a kilo of sweet corn 1,000.
Okay.
And you can sell it at 150 naira.
Wow.
So your quality control is very important. And what are the things as a sweet corn grower you have to look into when you are growing sweet corn? Number one is the nutrient requirement of the corn. It's very important. And one of the things you have to consider in terms of the fertilization is they are heavy feeders of nitrogen. At the early stage, maybe after 4 weeks after planting, you have to give them adequate supply of nitrogen.
Okay.
And then they also love phosphorus a lot.
Okay.
Once you get it right from that, there is what we call fall of armyworms. Fall of armyworms. It affects all maize growers all over the world.
Wow.
And even though scientists, they've been working profusely to see how they can mitigate the spread of fall of armyworms, they are still on it.
Wow.
So if you want to do sweet corn, one of the things that used to affect the quality of sweet corn is this fall of armyworms. You must learn the right time they used to come, the part of the crop you need to spray.
Okay.
Some people, they don't know when to spray and the part to spray.
What do you spray them with?
Insecticide.
Okay.
You get. They don't know when to spray and the time to spray. And sometimes they spray at the right time. At the end of the day, when they start harvesting, their sweet corn will be full of worms.
Wow.
And they want to take it to maybe like food co, ShopRite, shopping mall.
All right.
They will reject it from you, they will rubbish it.
Of course, they won't want people to consume that.
You understand? So that's why you must know how to undo your pest control.
Wow.
Like during their vegetative stage, when they've not getting to their reproductive stage, they will come, and then the hollow part of the corn, it look like a funnel. You get it? That's a particular place you have to target when you are controlling pests.
Okay.
During the vegetative stage, because that's where the worms hide themselves, and that's where the new leaf is being produced.
Right.
So once you don't control that, they will destroy that leaf, so that it will hinder the formation of another new leaf to produce. So you must know at that time that when you want to spray, you are targeting this place, and once you are able to get to reproductive stage, that's when you just start work. Because at the reproductive stage, they start tasseling. Tasseling is the main reproductive part of maize or sweet corn.
Okay.
And they produce sick too.
Okay.
So at that sicking stage, that's where they will lay eggs on that sick. When they lay egg on that sick, the egg, within a week, that egg will mature. And then it will penetrate. Each sick represents each kernel inside the cob.
All right.
So the worms, the young worms, the larvae will enter into those kernels through the sick.
Wow.
So at that reproductive stage, you must ensure that the person that will be spraying the insecticide target the sick. Many people doesn't know that you spray the sick. They will still be spraying the leaves. At that period, you don't need to spray the leaf at all. The target place should be the sick part.
Wow.
So if you fail to do so, I bet you hardly will you see 5 kilos to sell.
Wow.
because the worms will finish the whole sweet corn.
Wow.
And I don't forget I told you that the price of your sweet corn determine the quality that you control.
Interesting, people. We find out that Mr. Okwe has been able to share with us some basic things, with starting production, sweet corn production. He has been sharing a lot of facts with us, especially with getting, I'm really, really interested with this part of getting the pesticide right, when to use the insecticide on the sick, on the leaves. There are various stages and various times that you have to be very conscious of when and how you should apply the insecticides. This is your Getting Agric Right platform on SPFS television. Let's Talk Agric is still the program where we're still speaking with Mr. Wasiu Opeyemi, the CEO of Agriwas Farm, and we're still talking sweet corn farming. So for fried rice lovers, for supermarket lovers, those who love shopping, those who love sweet corn, let me even tell you that sweet corn can be used for soup. Yes, in some countries they use it for soup, some eat it raw, some eat, in Nigeria now, it's very common that we use it for our fried rice preparation. Above all of those things, it's used for so many things because of its nutritional content, as you have said. It's rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, all of those things are contained in sweet corn. So because of that, people use it for soup, people use it for so many things. We're still going to go into that, but I want us to get it clear, the cultivation stage. So I really want you to expatiate better now,
Okay.
Mr. Okwe, on the stages of cultivation. From cultivation to before harvesting now, the stages. You talked about the vegetative stage.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are names for each of those stages.
Yeah.
For a child, you have the toddler stage.
Okay,
You have when the child is a child, then he grows up to be, a young boy. Then you have an adult. So, what are the stages? And how many are they? Let us know what are the critical things to ensure during each of those stages.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, first thing, if you want to go into sweet corn farming,
Okay.
aside your land selection, the next thing you have to consider is the variety. The varieties of the corn you are planting, you must look at that's why I said earlier that before you go into sweet corn production for business sake, you understand?
Right.
Number one thing, before you go to the feed, your market.
Must be ready.
Now, aside your market, then once you know your market, you know the taste of the consumers, the end users, what they are looking after. Then that one will determine the varieties you want to go and get in the market for your production. So varieties is a very important factor so you have to consider when you are considering venturing into sweet corn production. So because we have some variety that they have a long shelf life. I told you that one of the problem of sweet corn production is shelf life. It has short shelf life, and that's why it's different from the feed corn or the dead corn we see around. After 2 weeks, once it's ready, after 2 weeks, if you don't harvest it, it's a waste. So there's some variety that they have a very long shelf life. I have planted some varieties that 3 weeks they still remain their mix stage.
Okay.
You get it. Where some varieties they don't have a long shelf life, but their cups are big. And I have some customers too that will say if a kilo, 3 cups cannot amount to a kilo, they will not pay for the right price you're supposed to sell it.
Wow.
You can see now, they are not looking at the shelf life. They are looking at the size of the cup.
Wow.
You understand?
Wow.
While some will say, I need someone that if I keep, it can still last for 2 weeks before I use it. So that's why I said variety is a very cogent factor you need to look into. Now, aside the variety.
Sorry, before you move away from the variety, can we mention some of those names of the varieties?
Yeah, we have Sugar 75, it's a Syngenta product. We have Sugar King, we have Royal Cob, it's Harvest Feed product. We have numerous of them.
And they are being planted here in Nigeria?
Yes, in Nigeria.
Wow.
You get it, we have. So, and I've planted all that I told you.
Wow.
You get it.
And they yielded well.
Yeah, fantastic.
Interesting.
That's how I know the one that has a good shelf life and the one that has a bigger cups.
All right.
You understand?
All right.
So, and I planted all this variety. You get it? I planted sugar king, I planted sugar 75 because I have different customers with different taste and desire. Do you understand? So that's why I said it is very, very important. Sweet corn is not something that you see because it's very, very profitable than the den corn. Very, very profitable. That's why on my farm, if you come to my farm anytime any day, you meet sweet corn. And I must supply every week, every month.
Wow.
So, but the variety, the choice of variety matters. If you choose some varieties that their cups are not big, there are some customers that will reject it for you. That they need 3 cups for a kg.
1 kilo, right.
And in terms of yield too, variety has to do with yield. There are some varieties that their cup is not big. And you know that since sweet corn is being sold per kilo, you get it. And if the cups are not big, where you're supposed to just gather like 3 crops to amount to 1 kg, you'll be gather like 6 cups. You know that the expected yield is not there, and you will not make the good profit you should make. So that's why I said number 1 factor, consider the variety that you want to plant.
All right.
And aside that, before I leave that variety, you must also be sure of the variety you want to get. We have more than 10 varieties of sweet corn in the market now. Are we together? And I have planted some variety that they are not sweet at all.
Yes, they are called sweet corn.
Yes. They are,
quite funny.
I can't just mention it.
Okay.
You get, I've planted variety that they are not sweet at all.
Wow.
They are just like a normal maize.
Corn.
Do you understand?
Wow.
So if you are going for variety, you should go for a tested and trusted variety that you've seen the grower planted it year after years. Don't hear from the marketer. The farmers, the real farmers that into it, let them suggest the variety for you. Because they are not selling.
Okay.
They are not marketing for you.
All right.
So it is very, very important. So aside the variety you're planting, it's really, really important. When you are planting sweet corn, don't try and plant the feed corn with the sweet corn.
Okay.
Because they can cross-pollinate.
Oh.
Yeah. Anywhere you are planting the sweet corn, ensure that both of them they didn't tussling at the same time.
Oh.
Once they produce their reproductive organ at the same time, you know, generally maize, the kind of pollution they carry, they carry out is cross pollination. Then, if they tussling at the same time, they produce their reproductive organ at the same time. The pollination will be wind pollination.
Right.
They can also do self pollination.
Right.
You get it. So the pollen grain of the feed corn and for the sweet corn, once they mix together, you see that you not get the real uniqueness of the sweet corn.
Right.
It will destroy the gene that the desired traits you are looking for in sweet corn is going to destroy it. So when you are planting sweet corn, don't plant the normal corn beside it. And not only sweet corn, even if you are planting 2 varieties of sweet corn, it is not ideal you plant it beside each other because each of them have their own uniqueness. And they can cross-pollinate if they are beside each other and tarnish the uniqueness they have.
I hope our people are really taking note of these things, especially for farmers who are into this business, because I find this very critical that you are sharing, you know, this expo, like students will call it. You are sharing this expo with us that you do not do this, you do not do this. If you want to have a great yield. And it's so interesting that sweet corn can have these technicalities. I was just thinking that it's not just normal corn.
No, it's beyond that.
Wow.
It's beyond that.
So please continue.
Yeah, so you must actually make that one to be at the back of your mind that when you are planting sweet corn. Anyway, you know I told that sweet corn mature earlier than the feed corn. So even though you want to plant feed corn, ensure that your planting time, one will be tasking before the other. That's how you can escape the cross pollination.
Like putting 2 weeks difference.
John, thank you very much. Okay. But once you plant them at the same time, or you plant them and they get to their reproductive organ at the same time, there will be a problem. They will cross-pollinate. And the desired trait you are looking for in sweet corn, you will not see it. So it is very, very good. If you are doing 2 varieties, stagger them. Don't make them to be close. Or you do sequential planting. 2 weeks interval. You plant this one, you plant the new variety. That's what I do on my feed.
Nice.
You get it.
Nice.
I stagger and I do sequential planting.
Wow.
So I think it's another fact that anybody that wants to venture into sweet corn should put into consideration. Another thing again is that it is being propagated by seed. And it's not like the conventional corn, the feed corn, that you plant maybe three seed per hole.
Okay.
No, this one is an hybrid seed.
Wow.
It's just only one.
One per hole.
One per hole,
Oh.
not 2, not 3. If you are
Do you
doing
have
that,
ridges too?
yeah.
Do you have ridges too for sweet
Yes, I
corn?
make beds because
You
I
make
practice
beds, alright.
irrigation. So I make bed where I can lay my drip tape and so on.
Oh,
on it. You
nice.
get it.
Oh.
And then one thing about sweet corn production that everybody should be aware of is not about the large expanse of land before you make money. Even though if you try it, you go and do 1 acre of sweet corn at once, you run into loss.
Ooh.
Yes.
For a start, don't do 1 acre.
Even though if you've been
That's what
doing,
you're saying.
even though if you've been doing it several times,
Okay.
don't try because sweet corn is not like the conventional corn.
Right.
It's not something that everybody is aware of. You get it? It's the elites, the Indians, the Chinese, the Lebanese that
really value
it.
Oh.
You get it? There are many people that have given sweet corn. They say, "Wow, where did you see this? Do you understand? How do you push your guy into this in this thing? Do you understand? It's not everybody that can pay for the price of sweet corn. So it's for a certain set of people. You get. So if you want to venture into it, as I am, I think the first mistake I made in my life when I started this business is that I planted 1 kg of sweet corn at once.
Okay, how do you mean? You put the seeds.
The quantity of seed that I planted is 1 kg of sweet corn.
Oh.
You get it? And then if you plant 1 kg of sweet corn and you manage it well, at least you expected it should be around 1.5 tons.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes. That I got it, and that's what I used to get. So
you ran at a loss there.
Do you understand? So before, that's why I said something. Everything I'm saying is something I'm victim of before.
Right.
Do you
Very
understand?
important.
My first production of sweet corn, I run into loss. Number 1, I base on my marketing based on promise. I will help you sell. And the person lets me down.
Hey.
Do you understand? Before I can run around, get customers.
They were already getting spoiled.
You understand?
Oh.
So don't do large scale sweet corn
Don't
because
do one
you get it. Base your planting on your customer demand.
Okay.
If the capacity your customer can take in a week or in a month is 500 kg of sweet corn, then plant quantity of seed that you get 500 kg of it.
No, you're bringing demand and supply into
Do you understand? Like me, that's why I said every month I sell. In a month I sell sweet corn 2 weeks in a month. And I've been consistent with this since I started this production.
Wow.
And the key, if you want to go far in this business, especially in agri-business, you get your consistency. Will make you to get more customers. Because this guy, just call him, he will have sweet corn. So instead of you doing what you can, instead of you bite what you can chew, more than what you can chew, then do it gradually. If I want to do 1 acre of sweet corn, I will say 2 plots. After 2 weeks, 2 plots. After 2 weeks, 2 plots. I will sell it with that issue. So don't say because you say sweet corn is profitable. You say let me do
10 acres.
I've seen someone that do 1 hectare. The person will not ever venture into it again in his life.
Wow. I love this conversation. Wow, interesting.
So if you want to venture into sweet corn, don't do beyond your customer capacity. Don't say because of the profit margin you want to get the money. That is easily you can get the knock too. So that's why I said before you venture into sweet corn, have your customer down.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okpe. We're still speaking to Mr. Okpeyemi Wasiu, the CEO of Agric Farm. You agree with me that we have been having a very, very interesting conversation this afternoon, still talking about sweet corn farming. Interesting facts that he has shared with us. Do not venture into it except you have an already made market, and don't do beyond your apa can stretch, like the Yorubas will say. Má ṣe ju bí agbára ẹ ṣe mọ́ lọ, in our market van demand. That is what you should plant. That is what you should cultivate. You know, and it makes me remember that, you know, at some point when, you know, as a secondary school student, when you are doing Agric, you just find out that they just teach you, go and plant. But there are steps, there are critical things that you must ensure, not just going out to go and plant, as we are highlighting already. So I just want to say that for parents who are watching us, this is a good platform for your children to learn. You have children, you have what, you have young adults in secondary school, even in university level. They can always join us on this show. Make sure you like, you watch, and you share. If you have not done that, do it now. Like, watch, and share. Still talking sweet corn farming. How is it cultivated? We are still talking the cultivation stage. When we come back after this short break, we'll now get into some of the nurturing, you know, activities, how to really nurture. And I know that Mr. Kwe has mentioned something about maybe irrigation. I'm sure there are other things, you know, applying insecticide. Let's come back after this short break, you know, and put X together again as regards sweet corn farming and production. Just stay tuned.
tómilẹ̀ títí tó ṣàprápra tó tún lè lálejò tó táwọn yọ. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ gbogbo. ọ̀dà ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ gbogbo. àǹtí ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ gbogbo. ẹ̀yin àpẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ gbogbo. SPFS TV lórí YouTube subscribe. ẹ̀kọ́ àgbẹ̀ tó yè kóró. ìròyìn lóríṣiríṣi nípa agriculture. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. ọ̀dà ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. àǹtí ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. ẹ̀yin àpẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tókò. SPFS TV lórí Facebook, SPFS TV lórí YouTube, SPFS TV lórí Instagram for your agricultural programs lórí.
Sweet corn farming. Let's look at, I said we are going to look at the nurturing stage. Aside applying insecticide, you've talked about when to apply insecticide. Let's talk about, other things involved in the middle. Okay. You've planted, you've put your seed, okay, you already have it sprouted, okay, before harvesting, those days about between day 10 to 20 plus, what are those things that you do? What other things do you do?
Now let me share this with you. It's a very important thing that it escaped my mind. I'm supposed to have mentioned it before. Is that sometimes, because sweet corn seed is very expensive. A kg of sweet corn, if you want to buy the seed, is 46,000 naira.
A kg, wow.
It's 46,000 naira.
That's a lot.
So the minimum quantity is 250 grams, which is 13,000 naira. So imagine you buy 250 grams of sweet corn and you plant it on the field. And it has happened to me several times. It has happened to me several times that the next day you planted today, the next day you go there, already that's eating them up.
So bad.
So it's another thing that when you are planting your sweet corn, the site selection, you must ensure that it is weed free. All the surroundings you must not site your land beside bush, because it's going to encourage rodents to come and feed on those seeds before they germinate. So you must actually put that into consideration. And also timing has to do with sweet corn production. What did I mean about timing? It's not everybody that has the resources to practice the climate smart agriculture that I do. Because I don't depend on rain for my production. If rain fall, I thank God. It saved me the cost of buying fuel. And if it doesn't fall, I move on.
All right.
Do you understand? So some people want to venture into sweet corn. For you to practice irrigations, you have to have a source of water, either a borehole or a dam or a river beside you. Some people don't have access to that and they want to venture into sweet corn production as a business, and which they are looking at rain. Their source of water is rain. And this period we have the era of climate change where you cannot predict exactly that rain will fall. Rain will start by March. Last year rain started fully in June. Do you understand? So you must also study the time. Is the rain stable? Because if you plant your sweet corn and they don't see water, it's going to affect their yield.
Wow.
Especially if they've grown to a stage whereby they started producing their reproductive organ at their reproductive stage and they don't see water. The crops will not be big, the grain with the kernel will not fit to the tips, and those are the quality, those are the attributes the end users look into before they get your sweet corn. So the timing, if you are not practicing climate smart agriculture, you are depending on rainfall, you must look at the timing. That is the rainfall you are depending on, will it be stable and steady for the whole production? So aside the timing, then you look at, I've talking about pest control. Once you are able to achieve that. And another thing again that used to affect sweet corn is fungus infection. Okay. Yeah, I experienced that last year. You understand? Especially when rain is falling consistently. Okay. You understand? When we have high relative humidity. Right. When rain is falling and sun is not coming out, the humidity will be very high. And at that time, when you are spraying, try and spray your fungicide too. Okay. Not only insecticide, spray your fungicide too. Because we have a lot of fungal infection that affect meat. As a result of high humidity. Which can reduce the yield. We have certain rust. It happens to me last year. Yeah. See, it will reduce your yield to the minimal level. No matter, yeah, very terrible. Certain rust. I didn't read this in book. It's a practical experience. Wow. So once you see that you have high relative humidity, you understand, you're happy that rain is falling indeed. But try as you are spraying, you spray your fungi to hurt the leaves to prevent certain rust. Because if you don't do that, and certain rust eats your corn. Wow. Is a goner. Yeah. So those are the factors that you have to you have to consider in managing your sweet corn before harvesting time. You have to look at those things critically. And also, because sweet corn, it is it is a heavy feeder of nutrients. You have to sometimes when you are spraying, when you are giving them I told you that they are heavy feeders of nitrogen and also they like phosphorus. So when you are doing the basal application, also when you are spraying your insecticide, you can get some foliar fertilizer, mix it with your insecticide, so that as they are collecting their food through the leaf, they also through the root, they collect the food too, through the nutrients through the leaves too. Then those things are going to help your yield. Because don't forget that this is a business. You are looking at the yield. Right. At the same time, you are looking at the safety of the consumers. And there's a withdrawing period for everything you are spraying. So that you don't say because you want everything to be neat and clean, you don't poison your consumers. That's right. You should learn the time that you must not spray again. But once you do your assignment very well, those things, the time you don't spray again will not affect the quality of the corn you want to sell. So then the next thing you have to consider is your harvesting stage. Okay. It's a very critical thing. And then there is a particular company I do supply to Lagos. Okay,
don't mention that.
You understand. There's a company that I used to supply to in Lagos. Right. It's my big customer.
Interesting.
And then the person is very consistent in buying things from me. And if the person wants to buy, the person buy at large quantity.
In tons or large kilos?
She can get half ton.
Wow.
You understand? And one thing I realized is that many people that they've supplied this person, they always regret supplying to her because they cannot meet her standard.
She has some things that she looks at.
If you can meet her standard,
wow,
you are a guru in sweet corn.
Wow.
You are a professional in it. I used to tell the person, because the day I saw the standard of that person too, it helps me. I mean, to ask myself, is this thing possible? Do you understand? But I work on it. And I discover that it's actually possible. And if you can maintain that standard, you are going to make a lot of profit from the person, because the person buys with good price.
Wow.
Yeah. But the quality, the standard, the spec of that person is very high. Now, if you are doing sweet corn production, you must learn the time to harvest. That's why I mentioned that person.
All right.
Sometimes it can be deceptive because climate to affect the harvesting period of sweet corn. Okay. Sometimes some varieties of sweet corn will be ready at 55 days.
I was going to ask that. Is it, are you talking
it's
of
not
early
thick.
harvesting?
Yes, sometimes, I said 65 days. But you must keep on checking, because the harvesting has to do with the climate.
Wow.
Sometimes at 39 days, they start producing sick.
Okay.
And it is being based on research and my working experience. Once they start producing sick, 25 days after they start producing sick, your sweet corn will be ready.
Oh, that's the maturity stage.
Yeah, it will be ready. Then, but if you are looking at that 25 days and you feel relaxed, you don't check it. Sometimes they're ready before that time, if the climate favor them. So sometimes the harvest period change based on weather. So once you see that they've started sicking, then you start checking them, maybe 2 days to check, because sometimes the harvest they ready before the time. And sweet corn, it has 4 stages.
All right, let's hear them.
Of harvest. We have the mix stage. We have the dough stage.
Dough.
D-O-U-G-H.
Okay.
We have the dough stage. We have the dent stage, and we have the physiological maturity.
Interesting. I'm sure people want to know what those stages mean.
See, out of these 4 stages, the best time, because sweet corn is harvested when they are immature. You must not harvest sweet corn when they are matured. Once they are mature, they convert their sweetness to starch. They will be tough and they will be starchy. And at that time, no one will get it from you. No one will buy it from you. So when you are at the mix stage, they are still milky and they are very sweet.
I see.
At that time, the consumer will like it. Okay. That's the time when consumer just put it inside their mouth. They say, "Wow, they can eat 20 at a sit."
Wow.
So after a week, if you don't sell your sweet corn at that mix stage, they change to dust stage, which you can still manage to sell.
Sell after a week.
A week. For that 1 week, they maintain their mix stage. You will not have issue with your customers complain that this.
As long as they remain in the cup, right?
Yes. Once you remove the cup,
okay.
I will still talk about the storage.
All right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's finish with.
I'll still talk about the storage.
Okay.
So once that 1 week, if you don't harvest it and it's actually entered the second week, it has entered the dust stage. And you must ensure that you finish selling it that second week. If you don't sell it, just go and throw it away.
It can't be used for anything, not even ogi.
If you allow it to dry finish and you want to use for ogi, it won't be like the normal corn you use for ogi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because
thank you very much.
Oh.
Because purposely they breed it for human consumption.
Immediate consumption.
That's why I said that is either you eat it is not sweet corn is not eating as a grain like the normal corn. It is eating as a vegetable.
Right.
That's why it is a vegetable crop. That's why I'm an horticulturist and we classify it under vegetable because vegetables they are herbaceous plants that can be consumed raw or with minimal cooking and they supplement starchy food or meal.
Wow.
And sweet corn fits this definition.
Interesting.
Sweet corn is not like the conventional corn you will plant that it will stay like 10-20 minutes on fire.
On fire before
this
you
one,
consume.
5 minutes is ready.
Wow, thank you for saying that. I think I must eat sweet corn after this show.
I will ensure that I send it to you.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that is just it. So you must look at that stage. After that stage, if you don't, at then stage, that's the time we harvest the conventional corn. When the grain is dry and has become starchy.
That's a dense stage.
Yes. That is, if it is conventional corn, that is the time you harvest it. And then the physiological maturity, that's when you want to use it as a seed for replanting.
For replanting. It must have really dried.
You understand? That's why they say physiological maturity. You get it. So, but the best time you can sell your sweet corn, you can harvest your sweet corn
at the
mixed stage. But if you are unable to sell it finish at mixed stage, dust stage is still manageable. Right. But it is the best to harvest your sweet corn at mixed stage.
All right, people, it's really getting more interesting of the program today. Let's talk Agric on SPFS TV. Still talking with Opeyemi Wasil, who is the CEO of Agric Farm Services, and he is an agriculturist. He's an horticulturist. It's interesting to know that he really studied Agric in school as a FUNAF student. No wonder that he really knows his onions about this business of sweet corn, and he has been doing it for 3 years now. You know, we are about wrapping up, and before we wrap up the show, I want you to just talk about the storage and preservation stage. Okay, for farmers who are really into the big business. I'm sure people have questions. If you have questions, please use the comment section. We are going to take them before we leave on the show so that our guests can attend to your inquiries. But don't worry, we are going to attend to all. You can put your comments, your contributions on the comment section below. All right, let's talk about the storage or preservation stages. What are the things that needs to be done? I know we have talked about sweet corn being eaten raw or fresh. You know, we see it canned, the one that we use for our fried rice, okay, and then we see it. Some do they roast it? So let's look at some of those storage. Let's hear from you. And it still have the nutritional value. Let's hear from you the storage preservation stages.
Yeah. Concerning the storage preservation, it is a very, very important thing that we need to look into. And it's so pathetic that our countries, they are not doing well in terms of storage. You get it? And that is why, sometimes I imagine the way the white people, the foreign countries, they grow faster than us in everything, especially in this agric sector. Yeah, when the time I have been considered to venture into storage is when I supply one of my Indians in Lagos. And I discovered that they used to buy sweet corn for me that they will use in 2 weeks. And I said, how do these people preserve it that the thing will still remain the freshness? But because of the person that is heading the unit, the person just took interest in me, and then he took me to their cold room. If Indians can come to Nigeria and have a very standard cold room
for sweet corn,
yes, in Lagos.
Wow.
They didn't tell me I entered the place.
Wow.
They will tell farmers that are producing exotic vegetables to grow for them. And then all the Indians in that community, you can't see them going to the open market to get their things.
Wow.
They create a market channel for themselves, whereby they buy those exotic vegetables, they put it in their cold room. You just see those Indians driving, package it from them. So they can buy vegetables, the perishable crop that we cannot hold with us. They can store it in their cold rooms and we stay there for a long period of time.
Wow.
But our government doesn't have one cold room that can even help farmers.
Does cold room help retain nutritional value?
Yes.
Wow.
For example, now if you can store sweet corn at the temperature of 0 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees Celsius, it can still stay for a month, 2 months without spoil.
Wow.
And there is nothing that will affect the nutrients and everything. It will still remain that fresh.
As fresh as it was.
And that's why if I'm harvesting my sweet corn, you can't see me exposing it to it. I will go and look for under shade where the place is cool in order to conserve the shelf life. Because once you see, plants respire. Once you see detachment from the mother plant, they continue the respiration. And if the rate of respiration is being higher, nothing to control it to a minimal level, then the shelf life too will decrease also. So if you can have a cold room, or we can have like a freezer where we can be putting all these things, it can also help farmers not to be desperate to sell their sweet corn in a week. And another thing where Nigeria have to adopt the growing of sweet corn is this: we have problem. There's a problem.
Oh God.
Yeah. There's a problem in maize production.
Okay.
Now, Nigeria consume 60 million tons of maize in a year, and we produce 12 million tons of maize.
that happens to almost every crop.
Can you see? You see that?
We eat more than we produce.
Thank you very much. And that is why you see that many poultry farmers are folding up because of high cost of feed.
Feed, right.
Because when animal and human being are competing for the same food, we are competing now.
And yet it is not enough.
And it's not enough.
Wow.
So there is a gap. That's why we sweet corn growers, this period now, for you to see normal maize to buy is very hard. But we have sweet corn. If we embrace growing of sweet corn that people are in Europe, in Indians, in Netherlands, those USA, is sweet corn they eat as the normal corn. Right. They don't eat this our conventional corn over there. It's for animal. So they will have sufficient food to feed, to convert to feed for the animals.
Because they eat another variety.
Do you understand? But here in Nigeria, both farmers, both human being and animal, we compete, and we are not even producing up to what we consume.
Oh no, so worrisome.
So that's why sweet corn, as time goes on, I'm happy that before I can sell 200 kilo of sweet corn in Ibadan here, but now
You have marketers all over the country.
I think I can sell 400k.
Wow, that's a lot.
No, and I still know that if I can increase my capacity, I can still see more than that. The awareness is there. Before we think it's only Lagos we can sell sweet corn because of the kind of people that are there. But now I thank God that the elite here too, they're embracing the consumption of sweet corn. So if we embrace the consumption of sweet corn, then it's going to remove the burden on the conventional corn, and we'll be able to use it to convert it to feed for animals. Then the poultry farmers will be able to come back alive into the business, because the rate in which feed is expensive these days, many poultry farmers cannot withstand it, so they fold up.
They can't continue.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it from Mr. Kwe Wasil, the CEO of Agric Farms Limited. Thank you so much. It's really been an engaging, insightful conversation with you concerning sweet corn. I'm sure we are still going to have another episode, sweet corn farming too. We are still going to have it because people want it. Is that not it? Yes, people want to hear more concerning sweet corn farming. I'm sure people have been, motivated by your discussion this afternoon about why they should take interest in sweet corn, especially when it has to do with food security, not just for humans, also for the animals that we are rearing, especially for poultry. So everyone needs to get back on the farm, especially when it comes to, corn planting, corn, sweet corn, field corn, and other varieties of corn. And this is where we say it's a wrap for today on the episode of sweet corn farming with Okpeyemi Wasil, who is the CEO Ajibola, thank you, for CEO of Agric Services, Farm Services. And on behalf of the executive producer of this program, in person of Mr. Tobiloba Odunto, I want to say thank you for coming on the program today. And we have this token for you.
Thank you.
For you to come today is really a big deal to us. It's because you value Agric as much as we do. So that is why we're saying thank you for accepting to be on the program today. So as you go, I just want to say some greetings to your followers, your people on the farm. I'm sure you don't work alone. You want to greet your people, you want to say hello to them as we close for the day.
So hello to all my lovers that have been watching us since morning. We appreciate you. And we encourage you to venture into agriculture. It pays. Right. Thank you very much.
All right, that is it for today on the program. I'm sure you have learned one or two things, parents, farmers, marketers. I'm sure you have a whole lot to learn from this video. Make sure that you don't watch alone. Share it, like it, watch it, and share it. I remain your host, Olamide Teju Osho, known by you as Sisi Teju. Next week promises to be engaging again. Don't worry, we are going to bring you sweet corn some other time with Mr. Okpeyemi. I'm sure you want to learn more about it from him. Okpeyemi Ajibola on this one, sweet corn farming on SPFS television. Let's talk Agric. Don't forget to keep growing. Don't forget to keep farming. Don't forget to keep getting agriculture right, because agriculture is an agreed culture. Until next week, make sure that you enjoy your day and you are doing your best in whatever you find your hands doing. Goodbye and thank you for watching.